Jonah. So in the story of Jonah, God tells Jonah to go to Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire. But Jonah doesn't want to. Why would Jonah not want to go to Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire? Well, very simple actually, because Assyria was basically like game on the day, terrorist organization. Yeah. They like battle, war, killing people, skinning them alive, using the human leather, things like that. Yeah, and no, YouTube, this isn't endorsing it. Just saying these things happen isn't an endorsement. So Jonah is absolutely terrified. Probably more terrified than you are of just sharing the gospel with your friends. And so, Jonah packs up and leaves because he thinks he's going to die if he goes to Nineveh. Where are you like Jonah? Where you are so terrified of what's going to happen that you flee. You don't want to do the thing that you're called to do. So then what happens? Well, the whole Jonah and the whale getting eaten. It's like, did Jonah die? Yes. I don't know why Sunday schoolers just don't learn this. Well, we need to make it fun and cartoony for the kids because just saying, yeah, and Jonah died and God brought him back to life will be something. I don't know. But yes, Jonah literally died. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you brought my life up from the pit, O Lord my God. So when Jesus talks about the sign of Jonah, yeah, Jonah died. It's really simple. Jonah died. There's no two ways about it. I don't know why people want him to be alive in the belly of the whale. What does that prove? What does that prove? What? Like, oh, it's no. Sunday schoolers are not Sunday schoolers. Sunday school teachers are just bad at teaching the Bible. And it's causing damage to the faith. Ironically, why are you guys so scared of just teaching Jonah how it is? Why? So Jonah goes to Nineveh. Does he die in Nineveh? No. He doesn't. He doesn't die in Nineveh. He dies in the whale. So ironically, the very thing he's so scared of happens because he chooses not to do the thing he was told to do. Often, actually a lot of times, fear leads to the very thing you're so scared of. So Jonah has a bit of irony. The prophet not listening to God, but just a bunch of randoms like the people in the boat, and then later the Assyrians, because then the Ninevites, they turn, they repent after what Jonah said. But Jonah's still angry. Why? Oh Lord, is this not what I said when I was still at home? That is why I was so quick to flee to Taresh. I knew that you are gracious and are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sin and calamity. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for it is better for me to die than to live. And God has a question for Jonah. Have you any right to be angry? So what if you go to that person? What if you preach the gospel to that group of people? What if you show the love of Christ to people? And they actually do repent. And you don't be like Jonah and be like, well, they're not getting the suffering and pain they deserve. Neither are you. Do you have any right to be angry? Actually, anytime you're angry, ask yourself that. Maybe in some cases you do. But most of the time you don't. So yeah, then there's a little plant situation. Then it ends with this question. You have been concerned about this vine, though you do not tend to it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight, but Nineveh has more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and many cattle as well. Interesting mentions of the animals here too, as reason for concern. Should I not have concern about that great city? And that's where Jonah ends. We don't get an answer. We don't. Yeah, Nineveh is evil. The Assyrians were evil. But look at now. What is now? The Assyrian people groups. Yeah, the Assyrians are still around. They're Christian. They're being persecuted. They don't have a homeland. Nineveh is a heap of ruins. They are now in the very state they put so many people in. And the Lord has compassion on them now? Yeah. We should stick up for them. And help them in any way we can. But the Lord also had compassion on them then. Does this mean not hold people accountable? No. A later prophet, Nahum, brought down condemnation against Nineveh and called Nineveh out for its sins. So no, this isn't just have compassion on the even. No, if they repent, that's the point of Jonah. You can't take the story of Jonah without the story of Nahum, where the Lord tells Nineveh that they're doomed to destruction. So really, we probably should move Nahum closer to Jonah. So in other words, yeah, Nineveh fell back. But still, those people in Nineveh repented. Jesus talks about them too. So yes, the Nahum ends with, "Nothing can heal your wound. Your injury is fatal. Everyone who hears the news about you claps his hands at your fall." Everyone hated the Assyrians. For who has not felt your endless cruelty. Yeah. Interesting, both Jonah and Nahum end on a question that's not answered. But who is the Lord calling you to spread the gospel to? And if they repent, if someone even awful repents, will you be like Jonah? Or will you celebrate? But if someone truly evil does fall, will you not celebrate that too? So yes, Jonah and Nahum. That's for Mecca. Next. I did.